Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is ProtoBalls Talk. This is Tank's sexy voice. And now your host, ProtoMet and my recycled balls.
I'm ProtoMet.
This is my recycled balls.
And welcome to the ProtoBalls Talk podcast, where we are joined by my good friend and longtime collaborator, Tank.
I don't even really know why I'm here, so...
You're here because we all watched the movie. You said you wanted to be part of it. There you go.
Was I drunk?
Maybe.
You were potentially drunk.
It's not outside the realm of possibility. Today, we are talking about probably the unluckiest movie ever, Friday the 13th.
Ah, God, that's really damn unlucky.
That is pretty unlucky.
Yes.
1979, or 1980, actually. Not really sure on the whole details on it. Sean Cunningham produced it, I know that much, or at least directed it. Tom Savini had a hand in
The special effects.
and it's obvious it's Tom Savini that did the special effects.
Oh yeah, you can definitely tell.
This is post Dawn of the Dead Tom Savini, so he's learned from his mistakes here. And he had quite a few of them in Dawn of the Dead. And so this is one of the more well-known slasher movies of the 80s and early era. Came out it's pretty much almost a copy paste of every trope.
Oh, it's just, we should just call it the trope movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's got... But I think some of it was coining the tropes rather than just simply copying them.
Well, some of what Halloween did, Friday the 13th copied and then upped.
Kind of up the gore factor a little bit.
Yeah. Because we mentioned Halloween's sort of a bloodless film.
Kinda, yeah. It's like
wow. I believe in Halloween, the only thing of blood you see is when Laurie gets slashed in the arm.
Yeah. That's the only blood you see in the movie.
This movie, on the other hand...
Oh God, no.
There's no blood in this movie. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre all over again. No blood, but you think there's blood.
No, but there actually is blood.
There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of blood.
So let's get into the movie. And we're in. And first up, we're introduced in the countryside of, who knows?
Bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah.
Pretty much bumfuck nowhere. Where we're
1959.
Yeah, 1959, Camp Crystal Lake.
We get a bunch of camp counselors.
They're singing songs.
Singing songs and all that.
And two of them go ahead and slip off because, you know, that
they're a little randy.
Now, while this is all going on, we get a first-person perspective view of somebody going in and checking on the kids before going to check on the counselors. Specifically, the two that have snuck off.
Ooh.
Hey, we weren't doing anything. Of course you weren't doing anything. That's not how sex works.
Oh, God, no.
The way they were positioned...
I'm pretty confident they were in the midst of foreplay.
They were pulling up their pants and shit. So,
they both had their pants on. I think the only one who was adjusting herself was
the girl. I believe he was unbuttoning her top.
The guy was zipping up his pants, okay?
Well, yeah, maybe. It's such a quick...
The point is, they were getting it on.
And they got caught.
They
tried to explain it away, and then the dude gets stabbed.
And just like...
Keep in mind, this is still in the first-person perspective.
And then Steve stabbed a guy.
And then you had a problem with how the girl reacted?
Yeah, she didn't run down the steps, and it's like... There's a reason why I was complaining about this, and I'll explain it later in the movie.
And I will do my best to refute that claim.
Okay.
And I'll let you two bitches talk about it.
Yeah. Tank's just gonna mediate it.
So then the girl gets stabbed, and then we get the movie title, Friday the 13th.
Great theme, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't it? No, wait, that's the third one.
Tank, I think it was Tank that brought up a good one. Halloween's music or Friday the 13th music? 13's music? Halloween's music.
Oh yeah,
oh
definitely.
God.
Yeah.
There's.
I've heard people talk. Okay, which one is better? You know. Yeah, I've heard which character is better, Jason or Michael, but not ever to the theme. But I have to agree that the Halloween theme is more superior.
Yeah,
Halloween's
Halloween's whole soundtrack is superior to Friday the 13th because Friday the 13th barely has a soundtrack.
And what little it uses is done pretty effective.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a great.
But when they do
soundtrack,
use
though.
it's during scenes where
Intense moments,
yeah.
stuff like that.
Other than that, fuck all. Other than that, when fuck all's happening, there's not really any music.
no.
So we kind of had to
the present day.
the present day,
Yep.
and we meet our main character, our protagonist, folks.
What's her name?
Fuck. I think it's Annie.
Yeah, I think it was Annie.
Maybe.
Well, we're just gonna call her Annie just because of
Yeah.
Raisin Brand.
Because raisins. Yeah.
So anyway, Annie is she goes into a little, what is it, a cafe?
I think it's a truck stop cafe.
Truck stop cafe, looking to get a ride to Camp Crystal Lake, because I think she's been hitchhiking this entire time.
Yeah, she's been
pregnant there.
hitchhiking the entire time, and
She got a job at Crystal Lake.
and all the locals are like, they're opening up that shit again.
Camp
Oh,
what?
God.
Yeah, I think this is where we get a bit of the history of Camp Crystal Lake. We got, of course, the two counselors that were murdered.
It is, in fact, Annie.
Okay. Annie.
Hey, we're good. We're
got
good at things.
Hooray. Anyway, it's the two counselors that were murdered. I think there was like some poisoned water or something at some point.
Yeah.
And then like kid drowning or something.
Yep.
You know, just really unlucky stuff going on, and they just kind of think that the place is cursed.
So,
but-
yeah, so the order of events, they explain it, is, the order of events is a young boy drowned in 1957, 2 people got murdered the year after that, and then a couple of fires and some poisoned water in the years after that, and they just never opened it up again.
But
So a lot of misfortune.
as we learned from Annie, they are opening the place up.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are
And she
opening it
has
up.
got hired to
be the cook, I believe, of the
Yes.
Yeah.
camp.
So she's asking for a ride, and this man,
this trucker dude.
this trucker guy named Enos,
He does offer to give her a ride.
he's like, what the hell, might as well.
It's halfway there.
I'll get you halfway there. I'll get you at the old cemetery, and you can walk from there. So they decide to go, and that's when we're introduced to the greatest character in the entire movie. Maybe the second greatest.
Ralph.
Ralph.
Crazy Ralph.
He just gets a real quick appearance, though.
Yeah.
You're going to Camp Blood, aren't you?
You're doomed. You're all doomed.
But that's later on in the movie.
Oh my God, Crazy Ralph is amazing. And I don't know who plays him.
He has, I like his old school bicycle.
Okay.
He's got a great bicycle, yeah.
He likes to ride his bicycle. Ching ching.
Now,
Bling, bling.
while Enos is giving Annie a ride, he does try and dissuade her from going to the camp because of all the bad shit that's gone down at the camp. He's looking out for her safety, but
Yeah.
she tells him that she's not afraid, and he kind of has to begrudgingly appreciate that.
She apparently really likes kids, and she doesn't like children. She doesn't like when people call them kids. It sounds like they're like animals or something. She said some really weird shit in the truck.
But you can tell her intentions are good.
Yes.
And
Meanwhile, at the camp,
meanwhile at the camp.
some people are showing up. One lady, Alice, is working with the guy who's trying to reopen the camp, Steve Christie, to help nail a gutter up. Basically, what everybody's doing this weekend is working on getting the camp ready for the kids to show up. Like I think the next weekend or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, and we also get a scene of a car ride that a couple of other counselors are getting, and I'll just go through their names quick. Okay.
All right.
Ned Rubenstein.
Or Nettie for short.
Nettie.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Burrell. Bill Brown.
No relation.
Oh.
I think there's a different spelling.
I know.
Marcy Cunningham. Brenda Jones. And Alice Hardy as well.
Alice is the one who was helping Steve with the
Yes.
gutter.
Yep.
But Jack Burrell. He's kind of important.
Maybe not to this movie, but to other movies.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you ever heard of a movie called Footloose?
Nope.
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 I have heard of a movie called Hollow Man, but you probably never heard of it.
Jack's played by the one, the only Kevin Bacon,
Hell yeah.
And that chin.
and that chin. But yeah, so they all show up at the camp, and Annie's not.
Oh, who's the one played by oh god, it was
Hold on.
Bing Crosby's Harry Crosby, Bing Crosby's son.
I believe that
Bill. That was Bill.
Bill.
He's
That's,
nice.
that's just a weird fact, knowing
Yep.
that one of the characters in this movie is played by Bing Crosby's son.
Mm-hmm.
But
So anyway, everybody starts arriving at the...
yep, and we get a scene of Steve Christie, chopping on wood.
Oh, yeah.
And the shortest short shorts you've ever seen in your life.
Oh, but he pulls it off so well.
I just want you guys to know that the axe is not the longest thing he's holding.
He doesn't, let's say, he's packing something in them short shorts that is barely inside.
It's right there, guys. It's right there. I don't know why they decided to give. It was a different era, I understand, but I don't understand why they thought short shorts on that guy was.
Well, he pulled them off.
Well, they had to show off as much of him as they could while still not getting into any legal trouble for obscenity.
I guess that was close.
You got me there.
It was the Tom Savini stuff that got him in trouble a little bit. But
Hey. They don't have to show off the women. All they gotta show off is Steve Christie. And the MPAA is all over this shit.
It's like, oh,
No.
you're going to show us more Steve Christie than America is able to handle at this point? We're going to have to fine you.
$10,000.
Fair enough.
I'll write you a check.
We're joking at this. But yeah, no.
Yeah, this is all jokes. We're nothing against the gays, but that's just funny.
Steve Christie's not packing anything. It's just a joke because
Yeah.
of how obscene those short
Yeah,
shorts
it was like,
And the porn stash.
and the porn stash. I forgot about the porn stash.
You were distracted by the bulge.
I was distracted by the bulge. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
oh, fuck.
So
But it's not just Steve Christie who's packing, of course.
Well, that
Kevin Bacon.
oh, yeah, he brings home the bacon.
He does.
we do get going back to the whole Alice helping Steve.
Going back to our main character.
We
Getting
will.
back.
We will. I just
Yeah.
want to talk about Alice and Christie's conversation and how
Right.
it's heavily implied that the two were probably in a relationship, but
Or-
she's going to be leaving soon.
I don't think they're officially in a relationship. I think Steve Chrisley is trying to pursue her.
I'm pretty confident that it's
I'm pretty
implied
sure-
that they were
pretty sure
both
they're- pretty
involved at some point.
Pretty sure
Yeah.
they're in a relationship. Doesn't matter what kind, and it just so happens It just so happens she works under him.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the extent of it.
Though it is implied that she's leaving.
Yeah.
She mentions that she has to leave for reasons.
We're never really given the reasons, but
She said she was gonna leave on Friday, so
maybe family stuff. We're not sure.
yeah.
She just wanted to leave. So.
Yep.
So now getting back to our lead character.
Yes, our lead character.
Annie.
She's hiking down the road when a SUV, not an SUV,
It was a Jeep.
a Jeep pulls up.
John would be proud of that Jeep.
John would be proud of that Jeep. It looked like his Jeep.
Kind of does, yeah.
John is a mutual friend of ours.
Yes.
Yep.
But the
Jeep pulls up.
opens the door, offers her a ride, and she takes it. And the Jeep speeds off.
Past Camp Crystal Lake entrance.
Yeah, which
And she's like,
throws Annie for a loop. Now,
she's
I feel I should mention at this point, we don't get to see the driver.
we only
of
get a
this vehicle.
silhouette of the driver.
We don't get to see
And a
the
first-
driver.
The
Driver.
So wait,
No wonder we
you
didn't
you
get-
want to be you want a pile driver?
Yes.
I get it.
Yes.
I'll hold him up. You grab it.
Let's do this. No, we get a first-person shot and a silhouette of the
Yes.
of the driver. And
But
Annie,
the fact that we don't get to see who the driver is a pretty good indication as to what's about to happen.
I don't know what's about to happen. For all, I mean, it is our main character.
Obviously she's gonna have.
She's gonna escape. Look, come on.
Yeah,
guys.
Obviously, she's the main character. Come on. So she gets in the Jeep. They drive off. Some stuff happens. Then Annie decides to jump out of the Jeep for her life and
Hits a rock.
Hits a rock, which
And
results
breaks
in
her fucking leg.
probably. I mean, she is limping through the woods for the remainder of
Yeah,
the
she
scene.
wailed that rock.
Yeah, yeah. So she,
She thought she was a Chevrolet, like a rock.
but the Jeep stops and reverses and comes after her, and she runs into the woods. She limps into the woods. Really.
Yes.
And she gets away from the guy, from whoever it is.
Until they show back up and stab her.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I really enjoyed that effect of the knife slash.
Yes.
Wait, they
Yep.
they killed our main character. Oh no.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
old country.
Psycho.
It's no country for old men, isn't it? Or
Oh,
Psycho.
Oh no. Yeah, she's dead.
Yep. we
We thought this lady was gonna be our main protagonist, but that's thrown us for a loop if we haven't seen this movie before.
Yeah, for the record, all of us have seen this Friday the 13th movie a few times before this, so we all knew
Yeah.
this was going to happen.
We pretty much know everything that's gonna happen. So Annie's dead.
Annie's
Yep.
dead, so we knew she was going to die going into this. First on-screen death since the 50s.
So then we get a great, we get a scene of everybody finishing putting everying
Yes.
together.
Putting a dock together. Yeah.
And they all decide to go swimming.
And then Nettie starts drowning.
Oh.
So they have to go in, pull him out of the lake, and perform CPR on him. At which point, he decides to reveal that he was just gagging and
shove his tongue.
tries to shove his tongue down one of the girls' throats while she's trying to resuscitate.
I'm sorry, but that's a real fucking. I'm sorry, but that's a real.
That's an asshole move.
That's a dick
But
move.
that
On
is-
all accounts. You
That
don't-
is, but it's clever to a point, but you get in your ass in big trouble when you try to do it.
However, this is par for the course when it comes to Nettie.
Hey, this is not the Sandlot. You can't get away with it and end up marrying the girl you kissed. That actually
considering-
happened.
that did happen.
That did happen. That did happen.
I do recall that being a thing.
That,
For those of you who have seen the Sandlot, Squints.
yeah, that was that was the right way to do it. This guy.
Squints Palidorus. He got banned from that pool for life, but ended up marrying that lifeguard.
I've never seen that movie.
Well,
Anyway.
oh, that's just funny though.
But yeah, so in case it's not obvious, Ned's the kind of jokester asshole of this movie.
Yes.
As we will soon see soon enough, as I think there's shortly afterwards another scene, I think involving the same woman, same girl, who is setting up the archery area.
Yeah!
And she narrowly avoids getting hit with an arrow.
Fucking Ned.
Well, I remember watching Jane Rolfe's Cinemassacre thing on the Friday the 13th franchise. He said, I'm just gonna quote what he said. He could have fucking killed her.
Now it should be noted that the actor playing Ned was not the one who fired the arrow in this particular shot.
That was Tom Savini.
Yes.
It was Tom Savini who fired the arrow. So
and it makes sense because he ended up because he was in not World War II. He was in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Vietnam for a long time, so I think he knows how to take a
so
shot.
that wasn't even a special effect. That was like actual archery skill.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right there. So
which
I gotta applaud that.
good on Tom.
But yeah, of course, this pretty much solidifies Ned as being the jokester asshole of the movie.
Then I believe we're still on Ned. We see him wearing a Indian headdress.
Oh God, the Indian.
And
so
I call racism.
Yeah, that is incredibly racist.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's just.
And then a cop shows up.
Yep.
And the cop is nonplussed, unamused, actually kind of pissed off at the guy. At Ned.
So you would say that he was plussed, instead of nonplussed. He's like,
Yes.
It's like he's not too.
He was not impressed.
Not impressed. No.
He's like, hey, don't get cute with me, motherfucker.
Yeah, pretty
Look,
much.
hey, we're looking for a dude named Crazy Ralph.
So yeah, that the entire reason the cop is here is not to bust down on the camp counselors.
You guys smoking any pot, any weed, grass,
No,
Mary Jane?
Nope, don't smoke.
What?
No.
Hey, what? No, we don't. We're just camp counselors here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where's Steve Christie? Somewhere.
I think he goes into town.
He
That's why
went
he's-
into town.
He went to
That's
go
why
get
he's
some
not there.
pie.
Sweet pie. Pumpkin pie, hopefully.
Oh, apple's all right.
Anyway, so the cop's there. He's not there for them. He's looking for Ralph. He just happens to come across some kids that he's hoping aren't doing anything illegal in the woods.
He happens to come across Ned, which with the way he's get up, you have to think he's on something.
Yeah, there's a pretty good reason
I'm
why
not
he
gonna do it.
suspects the kids this early on. It's like, because fucking Ned.
It's just too dumb to fathom.
But ultimately, we're informed that Ralph is maybe around, and the officer actually has to go attend to another call that he gets over the radio. So
You
kind
can't
of
keep the sheriff, the boss, waiting or something.
Yeah,
That's
can't
what
keep the boss waiting.
he tells them to keep their noses clean, and then heads off.
Wait, they don't do that. That's later films.
At which immediately they all pull out a joint and start I'm kidding.
No.
No, I believe Alice opens up.
Ruthless!
I think Alice opens up a
She opens
pantry
up-
door,
yeah,
and
she opens
Ralph
up-
is inside.
Yeah, we meet Ralph for the second time in this movie when,
And he's
when
fucking great.
Alice opens up the door and gives him a good scare. You're all doomed. You're all doomed.
Fuck you, Ralph.
Then I think Billy or
We found out Ralph has a wife.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise.
So we pontificated to ourselves.
I think it was actually the cop who reveals this.
There's
information.
a
It's
cop.
like,
Yeah, there's a cop. There's the cop that revealed it. But we were pontificating. Who's the crazy one in that relationship, Ralph or his wife?
I think we chose the wife is crazier than Ralph.
Ralph is the normal one at home. It's just whenever Camp Blood's brought up.
He's like, honey, I'll be right back. I gotta tell the whole town they're all doomed.
Yeah, I must go. My people need me.
I must go. My home planet needs me.
Where do you think you're going?
Sorry.
The only way we banish him from this house is if he mistakes Star Trek and Star Wars again.
Again.
How many more movies you got left?
We got 2 more.
So he might.
It might.
Anyway, then there's, I think, just before that, there's a scene where Alice is in one of the cabins, and she encounters a snake.
Yeah.
I believe she got done showering because she was in a robe.
Yeah.
This scene.
So she encounters a snake. Bill comes in with a machete.
Everybody else comes in and
starts crowding in, wondering what the hell's going on.
And they all start tearing the place apart.
I think Kevin Bacon jumps on a bed, which causes the snake to come out, and then Bill...
That is a bad bed if he just jumped on and just the mattress just went through.
But Bill uses his machete on the snake, and this was not a special effect.
Nope.
No.
But this isn't as bad as
A Cannibal Holocaust.
where they
Where
butchered...
they murdered a bunch of turtles.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that movie.
I haven't.
Thank God.
You don't need to.
I have no intention of it.
Hey, you don't need to watch the movie because the entire plot of the movie is in the title.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It is a Holocaust of cannibals.
Yep.
Anyway.
Fuck that. Fuck those kinds of movies.
No,
I'm sorry.
It's almost dang near a smut film.
It is definitely an
It was-
exploitation movie.
it
but
was
that's not
sued.
what we are not talking about that today.
No.
We're talking about Friday the 13th. So,
A much superior movie.
So yeah, Harry Crosby murders a snake, and that was not a special effect.
No.
It was a real snake.
Yeah.
It was a baby.
No, it was a full-grown snake.
Yeah. But I watched a documentary on the first Friday the 13th movie, and they regretted killing the snake. So they apologized, to the world.
Well, there's not much to apologize for. I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, it's just one snake, but I mean, come on. Not cool, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, one snake isn't gonna fucking ruin an entire ecosystem, but
Yeah.
like, goddamn, man.
But, people might get a little butthurt.
He was a rubber snake.
Yeah, if they had used a rubber snake, that would have been just so much better.
But what's done is done. Let's continue on.
So yeah, there's a machete in this movie.
Yep.
So, we cut later on, and,
Yeah, like at this point in the movie, I kind of lose track of what exactly is all happening because it is a little dull.
well, we get to the point where it's starting to darken.
Because it's actually starting to.
A storm is coming.
A storm is rolling in.
The storm is rolling in.
And then Kevin Bacon starts to
Flirt.
a little bit with...
I don't know her name. One of the women.
Yeah, one of the... Of course, as he does.
As Kevin Bacon does.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide to go into one of the cabins.
Well, they see Ned, and Ned's walking by, and he sees somebody in one of the cabins.
Yeah.
And they had seen Ned earlier, and they don't want no shenanigans from Ned while they're getting busy. So they call in to check to see if Ned's in there, and he doesn't respond. So obviously he's not in there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Yeah, no, he's not in there.
So they go in to get a bit busy.
I have to just say this is by far the weirdest love scene I have ever seen in my life, but these movies, I don't think these kids know how to do the sex.
Hey, in my opinion, everybody in these movies just happens to have a belly button fetish.
I believe the room came out after this.
Oh.
That's just belly button sex right there.
Hey, some people have those. And it's weird.
It's yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen weirder.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen weirder.
Human centipede.
Oh God. Let's move on, please.
Human Centipede 2.
Oh God, let us move on, please.
And a bunch of stuff happens, and everybody's hanging out. Everybody.
Everybody except for Kevin Bacon,
And,
the chick he's with, and Ned are hanging
They're,
out.
I believe it's Bill.
The three of them decide. Bill, what's her name, and Alice decide. Hey, let's play Strip Monopoly. How do you? Oh no!
Oh, Strip Monopoly. Well, I guess they didn't have cards, so they can't play poker.
Yeah.
So I think that was the only board game they could actually.
If only they had the video games.
I don't think they existed back then.
No. Well,
No.
Pac-Man came out, what, a year later?
Anyway, I think we find out what happens to Ned at about this point.
Oh, yeah. So they finish getting it on, and she's like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
She just kind of walks right past him.
Apparently, Ned's in another bunk.
Ned's on top of them.
Ned is above them.
Yeah,
At least his corpse is.
Which is my biggest complaint of this scene. They would have had to have seen Ned.
If you're in the art of passion, you don't actually see the things around you. You focus on that person in front of you.
Here's the thing. Kevin Bacon is taller than the bunk. We can establish that.
Yes.
He's taller than the bunk.
So is Jansen.
Yeah. Well, yes. That's just a given. That's just a given. Okay. Kevin Bacon turns around. Even if he's looking down, he can still fucking see Ned off his peripheral vision. I'm sorry, there's no excuse for this. The logistics of this scene.
It's a dark cabin. He's distracted by the sex. It's starting to get
stormy.
stormy.
Why did you just say he had his dick in his face?
Yes, okay, he had his dick in his face. Would that make you happy?
Yes, that would make you happy. It would be a reasonable distraction.
Okay, he had his dick in his face, okay?
Okay.
Let's move on.
So
but yeah, we find out that Ned's dead.
So Kevin Bacon's relaxing. He's smoking a little bit of the dope.
The green stuff, the grass.
So he lied?
Wow. Shocker.
Oh my gosh, it's a Friday the 13th movie. I thought these were...
And he feels something drip down on his face.
What
and he's like, huh? And a hand comes from underneath the bed and
grabs his forehead and stabs an arrow right up through his neck.
That scene also is kind of surprisingly not realistic. I don't think an actual arrow would be able to go through a mattress.
I don't think it'd be able to go through a neck.
Well, considering what some of the other more extreme deaths in some of the later movies have pulled off, this one's downright believable by comparison.
Well, I don't know. I think
by comparison.
Yes, okay. But I believe...
This is gonna be the fucking knife through the door.
Kinda, yeah.
Again.
It's like, even the logistics of getting the arrow up underneath the bed
are
in the same angle that it needs to penetrate Kevin Bacon's neck is just highly improbable and unlikely.
Oh well.
Yes, but
it does make
the
for a
scene
good
is
visual.
still awesome in its own right.
It makes for a shocking death scene. A shocking, gory death scene.
And what else would you have for Kevin Bacon?
Fuck if I know.
I don't know. He'd win.
It's Marcy. Marcy's the one that Kevin Bacon's having sex with.
Okay, so well then, Marcy.
So then Marcy goes to the bathroom, and while she's in the bathroom, she hears something.
She goes to investigate.
Doesn't see anything.
So she sits on the pot and starts reading things kids wrote down on the.
Yep.
On the walls of the the
bathroom.
The bathroom stall.
Yep. And she gets out, and she goes to the sink, and she sees something in the mirror. She turns around, and she gets an axe to the face.
After, letting out a fairly long scream.
Yeah.
You had a complaint about this one, too.
Oh, she had plenty of time to react.
And I think this is the point where you probably should go on your little rant, and I'll just refute you.
And I'll just sit here and listen.
Want to go do it later? Okay.
Do it later.
Okay.
Because it'll make sense later.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, now she's dead.
But no, she had plenty of time to react and get out of the way of that axe. Instead, and of course, ProtoMet says, "Oh, but she froze in fear." I mean, motherfucker.
She didn't know she was in a goddamn horror movie, okay?
They were playing Strip Monopoly. They should have...
She wasn't there!
They had sex in a cabin and smoked pot. They should have known.
Are you two done with your sands and your vaginas?
Up until we get into it later on.
Yeah. You know my vagina is sand free. Thank you.
Well, then you got a bug up your butt. It's one of the two. Anyway, we cut back to the strip monopoly.
And Bill is getting just losing.
Yeah, he's like takes his boot off, and all of a sudden later, I believe his shirt is off, and
Bill's basically naked.
He's got his undies on yet.
About the only one who's doing slightly better than him is
Alice.
No, Alice is definitely the one who's winning this.
Yep.
She's the other girl. What's her name?
Yeah, she got stripped down to appear her bra and panties.
Yeah.
Brenda.
Yeah,
Brenda.
And then they start hearing the storm really starting to kick up.
Yeah, like the door, but the wind knocks the door wide open.
And that gives them all a good startle, and it's at this point that Brenda decides, oh, okay, we're done playing this game. I'm going to head to bed. I'm going to go take a shower and head to bed.
Yep. And she hears a voice while in bed.
A child's voice.
Yes, but I don't think that happens just yet.
It happens just next.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Like, literally, she gets done brushing her teeth and she's ready.
Well, there's a couple of scenes.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure there's one where Steve Christie is at the diner getting his pie.
You sure you don't want another piece? No, I should probably be getting back.
I got counselors, they're scared of the outdoors.
So Steve Christie, he leaves the diner to head back to the cab.
And his car
breaks down.
But he gets a ride back.
But a popo.
No, he finds somebody who
he gets a ride back.
Oh, right, he gets a ride back from one of the, I think the sheriff or something.
Yeah, and they're talking, and they're like, "Hey, we picked up Crazy Ralph from outside your camp." Ah, God damn it, not again. His wife was pretty pissed.
Ralph left the house, that was why.
Yeah.
Without her permission. Well, anyway, the sheriff gets a call on the radio, so he has to drop Steve off, like at the entrance.
And that's when we get Brenda.
Yeah, Brenda's like,
she's reading a book. She hears a child's voice. We assume.
Now she's just gotten out of the shower. She's dried her hair. She's in a nice looking nightgown. Not gonna lie,
and it's still raining.
It's very tasteful.
And it's still raining.
It's still raining. Got the nightgown. Takes her robe off. Lays in bed. Starts reading. Hears kid's voice.
Okay. Huh.
I'd be like,
weird.
yeah, I'm just gonna.
Like at first, she's like, "That's weird," and goes back to reading. But then she hears it again.
So then she goes to check, and she makes it out as far as the archery range when all the lights turn on.
And then a bunch of arrows.
So then we cut back to Christy walking at the entrance, and he spots somebody.
Somebody he recognizes.
Oh, hey!
And then he gets stabbed.
Didn't expect to see you.
He gets stabbed.
Yep.
Yeah. Steve Christie got castrated.
Yeah. He got cut below screen. Off screen. He got cut below the waist, off screen. So the way I imagined it is, that motherfucker cut off his genitals.
No!
It was the only thing worth it in this movie!
Genital son!
Oh no. Not the return of Son.
I had to.
It's a genital son, his dad.
And presumably Steve Christie too.
Yep. Well,
No, he just killed himself after.
No, you know what? The way I see it, Steve Christie died, but Genital Sand lived on.
In our hearts.
In our hearts. It's like Segata Sanjiro.
You know, in canon, he is Kamen Rider 1.
I know.
Like, Sagata Sanshiro and Kamen Rider 1 are the same person.
I know. I'm well aware.
I'm not even talking about the fact that they share the same actor. According to the stage performance, Kamen Rider number 1 and Segata Sanshiro are the same person.
Segata Sanjiro.
That's awesome!
No wonder people didn't want that gaming system, because he kept beating people up.
They kept beating people up because they didn't have a Saturn. Get a Saturn, goddammit. So anyway, Bill and Alice realize, oh, where is everybody?
Yeah, they haven't heard from anybody else.
We also get a long fucking scene.
Yeah, Bill goes to investigate.
We get a long fucking scene of Alice making coffee.
Instant coffee.
I will admit, it is a rather long, somewhat drawn-out scene.
Yeah.
However,
It's stupid.
I feel that it's done to build tension, because at this point, we've seen stuff happen. We're expecting something to happen, and nothing happens.
I think it's just stupid.
I think it's like a FNAF game.
So then, but yeah, they realize everybody's gone and they go to investigate, and they find a bunch of shit, and they realize, oh shit, we're trapped here, and somebody's killing everybody, because they find an axe.
They find the bloody axe on Brenda's bed.
So they're like, oh god, we gotta get out of here!
So Bill goes up, so they decide to split up, which leads to the whole Alice making coffee scene, and Bill just kind of going somewhere.
I think, honestly, before that, I believe Alice woke up from a nap.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, she was so tensed out, she, like, passed out. Or nervous or some shit.
Why was she nervous?
I don't know.
Everything, like, she's just paranoid.
But, no, so Bill's taking a long time, so Alice is like, I guess I better go look for him. And she opens the front door, and, Bill's there.
Yeah! And a bunch of arrows.
He is strapped to, and this is another fucking...
This is on par with the pinning to a wall with a kitchen knife. Sort of ridiculous.
It's all in the head,
Here's
too.
the thing. Theoretically, a bunch of arrows could pin you to a wall, but they would have to puncture the wall.
Yeah.
They would have to go through the wall, and they didn't.
However, we can't deny that is still kind of an awesome visual.
Still a cool special effect,
Yeah.
That is a really good, well done visual effect.
but yeah, no.
Did Brenda get chucked through a window then?
Not yet. Not yet.
No. So she runs to another cabin and she locks the door. Smartly, she ties it to a rope and then barricades it for whatever reason.
Yeah, she ties the handle to a rope
Probably
and around one of the rafter beams.
Probably because thinking, oh, they could probably just get the axe and axe it through, so just barricade the door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brenda goes through the window.
And
also
we
times
remember this being so awesome, and then we rewatched it and it was kind of a letdown. It's like,
So what happens is Brenda, it looks like Brenda casually bumps into the window and it just completely crashes under her weight.
yeah, we recall her being thrown through the window, and that is not actually what really looks like happened.
She stumbles through the window, as it were.
She had a couple drinks, and she just literally had her shoe was untied, and she went through the window.
Yeah.
No, but somebody threw her corpse in through the window, and it is. We remember it being a much better visual than what it actually was.
When you guys were younger.
The way I see it, it's probably because in later movies, defenestration's a lot better.
Yes. And
Like in Part 4.
But we'll get to those later.
Yeah.
Well, when you have someone with the strength of
Oh, by the way, we're doing this for
Otter.
Friday the 13th in case the date didn't clue you in.
Yeah.
Forgot to mention that.
Yep.
Yep.
So now she runs outside. She unlocks everything and runs outside, and she runs.
I think at about this point the storm has stopped.
The storm is evened up or let up. Yeah. So she runs outside, and she's flashed by a car lights, and out comes this woman.
Kindly old lady, Miss Voorhees. Miss Pamela Voorhees. Who,
Yeah.
She tells Miss Voorhees what's all happened.
And she's like, don't worry, I'm a friend of the Christies. I'm here to help. What happened?
So they go into the cabin. She sees all the mess that's around, and she is devastated by it. Oh, she is put off by it. It is not nice. I mean,
Not again.
Not again!
They never should have tried reopening this place.
Did you know a young boy drowned here? Okay. Yeah? What about it?
The counselors weren't paying attention.
They were
Boy,
making love.
Jason, my boy.
Oh. Well, you ruined the joke that you were gonna make. You were like,
I know, but she didn't. My original joke was I was gonna, in character as her, have her go over the details of
right.
the various things, but she kind of jumps right to that. So it
He
kind of
was my son, Jason.
They were watching. They were making love while the young boy drowned.
I mean, obviously she's quite distraught, but also overreacting. And in case it's not obvious, she's the one who's been doing all this bad shit over the years.
Yep.
So yeah, we find out she's the killer.
This kindly old-looking lady.
Not Jason, although I'm sure if anybody's watched Scream, you would have figured that out immediately.
Yeah, because that jock guy just got offed in that movie because his girlfriend didn't know the answer.
Yeah.
That's a topic for another day, though.
And here's where the rant comes in.
I'll let
As
this go.
the male counselor's being killed at the beginning of the movie, why didn't she run? Down the steps? Because it's Pamela fucking Voorhees. She's this old lady, and we used to think, before we watched this movie, oh, well, okay, it makes sense. Pamela Voorhees is pretty strong, but not after,
that
pushing Brenda through the window.
Yeah, that's admittedly where we kind of started thinking,
Wait, she's not that strong.
Well,
in defense of this lady, her lover just got stabbed by a kindly old lady. She is completely thrown for a loop and is not thinking straight. And I'm pretty sure Pamela still had the knife.
can I say something quick?
Okay.
And back then, Pamela was probably younger.
Yes.
So...
There's only 30 years difference.
Shut your whore mouth.
Fair enough.
Actually, it would have been like a little over 20 years difference.
No.
It was late
50,
50s,
58,
early...
60, 70, about 25.
So, not 30. Huh.
But it did say present day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's an indeterminate amount of time.
Yeah.
No, it's actually 1980, according to the canon.
Yeah.
But, my theory...
Shut your whore mouth. So the chase begins, and it's a long fucking chase scene.
So keep going on with your rant. I keep.
But the rant. That's the rant.
That was the rant.
That was the rant. The fact that she decided just to back into a fucking corner instead of doing the instinctive thing and running down the steps and trying to warn the others.
She panicked.
God damn it! These people are in a fucking horror movie. They need to stop.
Almost no one in a horror movie.
They are camp counselors making love in a restricted area. They should know better.
We're not in a restricted area. They were
and smoking pot.
They weren't smoking pot. They were just fucking.
That's even worse. I could forgive smoking pot, but fucking.
Well, now I don't consider that scene fucking.
Also earlier in the
pre-fucking.
There we go.
Also earlier in the movie, you said they were making out. Ha.
Well, they were kissing.
They were gonna fuck.
They were worse.
They were planning on fucking.
Anyway,
that was by far the worst kiss
I
ever.
disagree with everything that woman did, and it bit her on the ass. And good, she deserved it for freaking out, for panicking, and for having premarital sex. How dare she? How unchristian of her.
Okay, so my argument is that literally almost no one in any horror movie actually realizes they're in a horror movie until the horror movie reveals itself.
Death Day.
I said almost.
Scream.
Almost. Almost no one in a horror movie knows that they're in a horror movie.
Young Frankenstein.
That was a parody.
It's still a horror movie.
It's just... it's a horror comedy. It's a horror comedy.
It's a horror comedy.
It's a comedy.
The film man
It's a
from
comedy
everybody
based
else.
on a horror movie.
Anyways,
We're getting off.
anyway,
topic here.
begins a long fucking chase scene that frankly takes too much goddamn time.
Pamela pulls out a knife, tries to stab Alice. Alice manages to grab a fire poker, disarm her, and starts beating her on the back with it, knocking her out.
Chase.
At first, we think Pamela's bleeding from the head because when she gets up,
not yet.
Well, okay.
Not yet.
She eventually she does have a head wound.
Or at least we think we do.
But like I said, quick notes version. Chase. Hide in a closet. Break the closet door. She gets knocked out again. That's when she starts bleeding on the head. Chase.
Or at least that's what we thought, because there's like a red pillow that when she moves her head makes it look like she's been bleeding on the couch.
Chase. Out to the archery range.
Not yet. She gets past the archery range, gets to the gun cabinet area.
Right. Oh yeah. Right. Gets to gun cabinet. Nothing there. Can't open the doors. Doors locked because
she can grab the guns, but she can't get to the ammo.
Pamela tries to fight, and Alice wins again. Runs out.
After all her super strength of hanging all these people, she ends up
stabbing,
slapping the crap out of her.
She resorts to slapping her when she could have gotten the job done.
Like at some point, Pamela had picked up the machete that was mentioned earlier and dropped it.
Yep.
At any point, she could have finished this, to be honest. And she chose not to. And it's kind of what bites her in the ass in the end.
Yeah, because Alice eventually does manage to get away, picks up the dropped machete, and chops Pamela's head off.
And we get a scene of her hairy knuckles. And goddamn those knuckles. Those are Tasso Stavrakis' knuckles.
Yep.
She amputated his knuckles and put them on her hands?
Yeah.
My God, the mad woman!
I knew
Human centipede, but different.
She Frankensteined that shit.
Oh my God. So Pamela's dead.
Huh. The killer is dead. The movie is coming to its close.
Alice goes out on a boat.
The next morning,
Alice is on a boat.
A
canoe, actually.
Canoe. The police have pulled up. Somehow, I don't think anybody called them. They just kind of showed up.
I think they were still looking for Crazy Ralph.
Probably.
I think Crazy Ralph broke out.
Also, they found him and then he escaped.
That's my canon. That's my canon I'm going with.
They were probably looking for Ralph because his wife went to the police station.
Yep.
And Ralph was just terrified.
They picked up
Scooby-Doo.
They picked up Ralph, and they got him out on bail, and then he came back because God damn it.
So anyway, the police have shown up. Alice sees that the police have shown up. She's about to call out to them, and then a zombie boy jumps out of the lake and drags her in.
Hi, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Hi. That's Jason.
Yep.
The guy who played Jason is in his 40s now, and
he has his own band.
The first Jason.
The first Jason is a singer in a band.
There's horror conventions, and this character goes up to Kane Hodder, who's officially the most popular actor or stuntman to play Jason.
Kane played through part 7 through.
Right.
Yeah, but
Jason.
people do consider him
the Jason.
Yeah.
I don't personally, but that's whatever.
He always just goes up to Kane. Remember, I was the first.
And that's where the movie ends. If this were a perfect world. So yeah, Alice gets dragged into the lake by Zombie Boy.
And she wakes up in a hospital.
Yeah, that completely ruins
and she's
the ending.
like, what about the boy from the lake? There was no boy from the lake.
Then he's still there! End credits.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
I personally had,
You did come up with a very good way to open up the second movie.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I had suggested you end the movie, the first movie, on that scene.
With her being dragged into the lake. That would have been a fantastic ending just on its own, but then they decided to go further. Anyway.
And then you open up the second movie with the exact same scene, and then start the movie proper.
With Alice waking up from a nightmare.
Waking up from a nightmare. So you just add a couple minutes with this scene on the opening.
Yeah.
I will be a little fair. They weren't expecting to be making a second movie, But seriously, that was kind of a shit end.
Yeah,
That
it was.
came immediately after what could have been a really good ending.
And that's Friday the 13th.
Yep.
6 out of 10. Wasn't very good, in my honest opinion.
I would give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I'd give it an 8.
Yeah, it coined a bunch of tropes, but the characters, I mean, other than Christy, who I know we're memeing about, but honestly, every character wasn't that interesting.
Yeah, no. Most of them were not
the most
very well
interesting
developed.
character was Ned, but that's just because, come on.
He was the asshole jokester.
Yep. In a later...
He's the Shelley of this version, but without the sad backstory of having no friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just an asshole to be for the sake of being an asshole.
And then, of course, you have Ralph, who doesn't need a whole lot of introduction to be
No,
honest.
he's just a crazy guy that, warns people. But we care about him.
We'll give the movie some credit for going against standard slasher tropes at the time by actually having an old lady be the killer.
Yeah, instead of a big butchy man.
Yeah, like the fact that a lot of the kills either
But we forget, they already did that trope in Don't Look Now.
What? I've never heard of that movie.
You've never heard of Don't Look Now?
I don't think so. So,
okay, for those of you who have seen Don't Look Now, I'm sorry, I don't mean to spoil the ending for you, but it is the who's the guy from Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Oh, that movie. Now I know what you're talking about.
Now I don't need to spoil it. Now you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, that is kind of a...
I gave him a weird look, too.
That is a...
I've never seen the movie. I've seen that scene, though.
If you've seen Don't Look Now, you know what I'm talking about. That what the fuck ending. And they did something like that in Don't Look Now. And I think they did another thing like that in Alice, Sweet Alice, where it was somebody else entirely.
But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that it wasn't that well used of a
it wasn't that well used of a trope.
And the fact that most of the movie has many of the kills done from the first person.
Also the fact that it has a more supernatural element to it instead of just like a straight slasher.
Yeah.
Like Halloween doesn't even have that much of a supernatural twist to it. It's just Michael Myers is.
He's like
really tough.
He can take bullets.
He's so fucking. What's the word?
Deranged.
That might be the word. Yeah.
Meh.
Or so focused on his mission that bullets aren't gonna stop him until he's finished.
But yeah, I like the fact that they had a woman be the killer instead of the big hulking man that you kind of expected to be.
Here's the positive.
From how many of the kills are done.
Here's what I'll say the positives are: the music, the kills, the twist, and the ending before the ending are the positives. Negatives are the pacing is off.
Yeah, admittedly, I will admit that this could have been better paced.
Yes, it could have been.
The pacing, the logistics, the characters are easily the worst thing about this movie. Mm-hmm. Other than Ralph. And
like
the ending proper is fucking awful. So it kind of evens out, but I still give it a 6 out of 10.
I still give it the 7.5, even with those points. I just kind of feel that it's good.
So
I just like the movie in general.
So when are we doing Friday the 13th Part 2 next?
That would be March, the next Friday the 13th.
You heard it here, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Every Friday the 13th.
I will be back.
I was just about to ask.
Tank will be back. Well,
Tank will return in Friday the 13th Part 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Jason wouldn't have a chance if I was there.
Knowing your drunk ass, I mean, come on.
I'd be the first one off.
Knowing your drunk ass, you'd be at the party.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be anywhere near what happens.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in Part 2.
Yep.
Because that's actually an important thing that happens.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yep.
So,
with that said,
I'm ProtoMet.
This is my Recycle Balls.
I'm Tank.
This has been the ProtoBalls ProtoBalls Talk podcast talking about Friday the 13th.
God damn it, man.
Get that dick out of your mouth.
I'm sorry, it's Steve's. It's Sim Christie's.
And then
Oh.
Steve slapped a man
With his dick.
with his dick. And it happened to be that guy right there.
Until next time.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.